again, everyone. Catherine here, and welcome to another episode of What's Next in Marketing 2025 interview series. I am delighted to welcome an awardee at the Marketing Technology Awards 2024 and discuss how to utilize AI in your conversational marketing strategies. Our guest won the Silver Award for Tech Solution Leader of the Year, and his team also won the Silver Award for Best Customer Engagement Platform and the Bronze Award for Best Use of Customer Engagement Platform. So without further ado, let's welcome Asnawi Jufrie, Vice President and General Manager of Southeast Asia at SleekFlow. Welcome, Nawi. Congratulations on the remarkable wins, and thank you for gracing us once again with your presence for another interview. How are you feeling today?
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm feeling great. Really looking forward to today's discussion and also to the insightful sharings that I can learn from, also from the questions that you ask. So yeah, definitely looking forward to today's session.
Wonderful. Great energy to start our conversation. And definitely, I know I'm going to learn a lot from you today as well. So now, as businesses turn to digital channels for customer engagement, the need for personalized and efficient interactions have grown exponentially. So what innovations in conversational AI are shaping the future of customer experience, and how can we use them to personalize customer interactions and increase conversion rates?
I think that's a great question. Right now, if we look at conversational AI, I believe it's a lot nearer than further from what people would think. If you think about it, if you look at your favorite brands like Nike, or even if you look at Siri, for example, day to day, we are already engaging in conversational AI without us knowing it. But maybe that term is not something that is as frequently used or frequently used by the consumers or even businesses. How we feel about conversational AI is the sentiment it is currently having us form closer ties between brands and their users while actually reshaping the customer care segment. We recently did a survey with the Southeast Asia B2B brands, B2C brands, as well as consumers. 86% of the respondents actually shared that they were very relatively familiar with not conversational AI, but what conversational AI is all about. Overall, they had a very positive experience. And one thing that I noted, which I wanted to share, was 67% actually shared they believe conversational AI or AI might replace human customer service completely. But on that part, I actually don't fully agree on that note, because one of the things that I believe is important is the emotive part. And I think that the emotive part is something that AI is still learning, is still building, and that's something that we can discuss more today on that topic of, will AI actually replace the entire customer service journey end to end, and will it completely replace humans?
So the roles of AI agents and traditional automation tools have become increasingly prominent as businesses adapt new technologies to enhance their operations. And understanding how these two differ in functionality and purpose can help businesses optimize their strategies. So what are the key differences between AI agents and traditional automation tools, and how do they complement each other?
I think before we got into the topic of AI agents as well as traditional automation tools, I think one thing we need to understand is the advancement of AI. Where has AI been and where are we going towards? I think many people are very familiar with NLP, but moving forward, what a lot of AI specialists, scientists are working towards or working with is NLU, natural language understanding. So natural language understanding is important because if you recall my previous message about whether AI will replace humans, currently it's not. Why? Because the thing that AI will lack is actually empathy. They might not understand a lot of customer intent, context, and tone. And that's something that the whole concept of NLU is where scientists and AI specialists are focusing on enabling transformation of raw text into real actionable insights. Why is that so? Because with messages and with the tones of your messages, it's a lot easier by having different guardrails in AI to actually determine what kind of intent or what kind of emotion this person is feeling. And this is especially important because in the world of virtual assistants, it's important to actually keep track of context. So this allows for more natural and coherent back and forth interactions. Apart from that as well, real-time sentiment analysis is a core feature or a core area of development for AI or NLU. And this is important because AI needs to understand and detect or also interpret the emotional tone, attitude, and also sentiments behind the user's input, especially in real time. And that's the most important thing. But I truly believe that this is something that requires more time and more data. One of the fundamental worries for a lot of businesses is actually knowing whether or not the AI is giving accurate representation or accurate intent. Apart from that as well, personalization with advanced data is especially important. So imagine the data that you have managed to dig out or you've gotten from conversations that you have with your customers or your users. This is gold mine for them, for businesses. Because with this data, you can actually personalize it also with AI. And if you're able to interact it and cross it across CRM, your ERP, and other data sets that sits in your tech stack of your company, you're able to understand holistically who this person is. And by doing so, you are then able to derive and give opinions or give replies or respond to customers using AI to a manner that is best suited for them. And last but not least, especially in Southeast Asia, with many different languages, nuances in the dialects that they use, it's very important for AI to understand this. And this is something that AI scientists as well as specialists are really enhancing and enforcing, especially in this region, because they realize that in this region, one country can have maybe one language, but maybe 200 dialects, for example, in Indonesia. I think that's something that is very, very, very fundamentally important to understand in terms of the direction of AI.
When we had a roundtable discussion, and a lot of the concerns were around this, the specific dialects that maybe the AI hasn't learned. So I'm a bit curious on my side, because even though we know English, it's not always the same for different countries. AI is definitely also going to be taught these, or it will depend on what they want to feed the AI.
Yes, that's correct. So that is also a good segue to your previous question about AI versus traditional automation tools. Because with AI and what I mentioned about the NLP or NLU, which is the most advanced way of looking into AI and what scientists are looking forward and working very, very heavily on with machine learning as well, what we can now do and what we can teach the AI is about understanding the nuances and the dialects that is being used in a particular country. And the problem is, how do we scale that? And that's something that is very, very interesting to dive deeper into. If you look into traditional automation tools, a lot of times where we will realize the interaction, this is where people find it like it's a bot, right? So the difference between agents and bot is something that is quite structured, right? So if it's English, you only reply in English. If let's say they say certain things, you have a fixed rule about how you're going to reply. If let's say there's a different language, for example, if you did not have an input or a structured input to that automation tool for the NLP or even machine learning of the language itself, they might not be able to understand and reply. They might not have sentiments with regards to how to understand the emotional intelligence of that conversation. If you compare that to AI agents, that's completely different, because the whole idea of AI agents, which is using NLU, NLP, is really to understand the natural and unstructured language that persists in the world. So we always know that in a certain country, it might not be just perfect English that they'll be speaking with. They'll be having some sort of lingo. For example, in Singapore, there's Singlish. So this kind of nuances is very, very important for AI to understand this unstructured data and allow them to actually revert and answer questions in a manner that does not feel like a bot. So many times people will always say, I don't want to speak of a chatbot. And I understand and I completely empathize, because bots are traditionally used using traditional automation tools. But with AI agents, it's different. AI agents, the whole concept is, if you can imagine, let's say Catherine is working in customer service or a sales call center with a company. If we can actually follow Catherine's day-to-day, minute by minute, of how she responds to customers, how she deals with different kinds of information, and if we can extrapolate it for 10 years, what you will realize is that Catherine would have a system to handle difficult cases, a system to understand the nuances in the languages. And this can be replicated through AI via agents. So agents can then become a kind of an enabler for Catherine so that agents are working on her behalf while Catherine is focusing on key resolution or high stake cases or issues that really requires human intervention. So by doing so, that is my belief that AI will never really replace humans, but what it will enable is an enhancement or an enabler of humans to really focus on what matters, which is the customers.
So with that in mind, understanding, what you mentioned about NLU, NLP, and consumer data, nuances, etc., how can businesses identify the most suitable areas to deploy AI agents for maximum impact?
I think I can share again the survey that we did with over 200 respondents, and this was focused primarily on Southeast Asia. So across the board, 66% has actually indicated that their businesses are already on AI or already on automation. And amongst this industry, more than 60% of these businesses identified e-commerce and retail as the most useful sector for AI agents. So if you're in that space, e-commerce and retail, majority of your peers are already implementing AI in their processes, in their end-to-end customer journey. Following closely to that will be travel and hospitality, which makes a lot of sense because in Southeast Asia, we are very customer service oriented nations. And that's why you will notice that a lot of hotels, a lot of travel agencies, a lot of restaurants are actually implementing tools to help elevate the customer experience of their customers or their users. Two more industry that makes a lot of sense is education. And education also includes e-learning. Brands and institutions and schools are focusing heavily to utilize how AI can be used in their processes, but also how AI can be used in their day-to-day interaction when teaching. And last but not least is entertainment and media. Traditional industries are also leveraging and jumping on this bandwagon of maximizing their benefits with AI agents. I think the most important thing for brands and industries that are looking towards AI agents is really to evaluate the end-to-end process. I think that's really important. You need to know where your customers are speaking with you, on what platform, and identify the areas where you want to deploy your AI. Deploy your AI in a manner that is congruent to your culture of the company and where it makes more sense for you as a business. I think many times what I notice in a lot of businesses is, okay, I've seen how AI is deployed for this brand or this institution. I'm going to use the same use case. But we realize that every company is different. So it's very, very important to ensure that you understand your process, you understand where AI can be useful in the parts that can be automated, in the parts that can be utilizing some sort of automation or AI. And then you speak with AI specialists or people that are already well-versed in this space to really understand, will there be a good fit for an AI agent to be used in this part of the process to enable you to have greater ROI, to enable your agents, your human agents, or maximize face-to-face or human interaction where you can then provide empathy and you can provide them with the care that they will require so that you keep your customers happy.
Thank you once again for being with us today. We're excited to witness what 2025 and the future holds for you and SleekFlow as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for having me.
And that was Asnawi Jufrie, Vice President and General Manager for Southeast Asia at SleekFlow. Lots of facts and actionable insights that I got today, and I know you guys have as well. So stay tuned and stay connected with us to be updated at our What's Next in Marketing 2025 series. I'm Catherine, and let's keep learning every day.